back. We are in the great state of New Jersey. And anyway, with Republican candidate for governor, Jack Ciattarelli is with us. Joining us now is a New Jersey resident. She is a friend and colleague, the anchor of the Faulkner Focus, a co-host of the hit show Outnumbered, right on the Fox News channel. Welcome, my friend, Harris Faulkner. So good to see you. Thank you.
Woo. All right. Yes.
New Jersey resident, and here you are. Okay, would you agree with me? This man wins this race. And under the tunnel, across the bridge, whatever. That's a political earthquake. How do you juxtapose that?
You know, it is right now because affordability is such a huge issue. And on the New York side, you have a man who I call a communist. He's a Democrat socialist / communist, Zohran Mamdani, who's preaching free stuff. And what Jack Ciattarelli is talking about is turning our system upside down and making it work. And so I have a lot of questions for you tonight. And I know the audience does as well. But the big difference is going to be that you'll see some of that potentially happen, as you have with other New Jersey governors who've tried, but we've got to get it right. We have to get it right. We have a lot at stake in the state now. Our energy prices are off the charts.
Anecdotally, Harris, I have a lot of friends in New Jersey, and anecdotally, they're telling me all they see are Jack Ciattarelli signs, even in blue areas in New Jersey. Yeah. And we see early voting, again, anecdotally, we see that independents are breaking hard for this candidate. What has changed here?
Well, part of it is that it has such a blue history. I call New Jersey a cobalt blue state. It has had some Republicans along the way, but for the last 24 years, it's been majority Democrat rule at the top of the ticket. And I know Republicans have won races, but it's hard to break the back of the drug of high taxes for the government and for those officials who traffic in that. And it feels like they're trafficking in high taxes because the current governor said when he ran the last time, if taxes are your issue, then New Jersey is not for you. I'm sorry, we live here. And by the way, in one of the highest tax states in America, taxes are everybody's thing. Even if you're not paying hugely high taxes, they're a part of your income that is rather sometimes opaque. You want to see where it's going. Maybe your life isn't getting better, but you're paying high taxes. So that was an issue that I think the left, at least in that race, was tone deaf on. You came close. He outspent you. But I think we're in a different place politically. I'd like to ask Jack, if I may, where are we right now with not just the tax issue, but how different the landscape is from the last time you ran against a Democrat?
You know, I always say this. What's different this time around, I mean, I'm talking about the same issues I did back in 21. They were percolating then. They're at a complete boil now because people are pissed over the affordability crisis, the public safety crisis, the public education crisis. What's different is no pandemic this time around. It wasn't easy running for governor when there was a shelter-in-place order. Yeah. Number two, I'm not running against an incumbent. Number three, there's a lot less in difference this time around. The closeness of my race and how well the president ran here, you know, from 20 to 24, the president improved by more than 10 points in New Jersey. That was the greatest improvement of the 50 states. Now, no, he didn't win New Jersey, but that improvement means there's 300,000 more people today that are favorable to the president than back in 2020.
What do you make of 250,000 people in this state have fled? They have left.
How can you blame it? It's the highest tax state in the nation. We always lead the nation in out-migration. We're going to change that. We're going to downsize this state government, which is bloated and inefficient, to afford a tax cut for individuals and businesses. All
right, let's talk about how you do that. Governor Landry of Louisiana, I spent some time with recently. We did a show together on the banks of Mississippi at Southern University and HBCU. He and I talked about DOGE in his state. He did that years ago. That's kind of what you want to do here.
Well, leave it to a CPA. So... in New Jersey, we have a committee for state investigations whose job it is to identify fraud in state government. The CEO of that committee recently had to resign for fraud. Welcome to Phil Murphy's New Jersey. We also have a state comptroller whose job it is to identify waste and inefficiency. I'm putting the two together under one auditor general, and that will be the equivalent of a New Jersey DOGE.
Can I talk to you about the state comptroller? I did a little bit of homework. He says he's nonpartisan. That's critical in this environment.
It is, and it's a 6-year appointment, so it's not always in perfect
And you're going
sync.
to keep him?
Well, I'm forced to. And when the
Okay.
6 years are up, we'll give it a close look.
I don't know. In this environment with President Trump, I don't know what's forced and what's not when it comes to keeping people.
Well, you know, nationally, peace and prosperity tend to drive elections, right? On a state level, a little bit different. I would argue, and Harris, tell me if you agree, law and order, safety, security, it's got to be a priority for local government. And obviously, taxation and prosperity and opportunity. You know, I'll look at, for example, Mikey Sherrill says, no, I'm not for defunding the police. That's what she says. I'll give you an example. She voted no on a 2023 bill to make assaulting a law enforcement officer, firefighter, or first responder a deportable offense. Really? She voted no in a resolution in 23 expressing support for local law enforcement officers and condemning efforts to defund, dismantle, you know, law and order. So it's like a lot of politicians. She says one thing, but then votes another way. On the issue of, I didn't want to rat my fellow Naval Academy peers out, but then 2 weeks later, she says the opposite. Oh, I told them everything.
Yeah, well, what's complicated about that, I'll just say this having been born a military brat. So it's frustrating to hear that someone who had key information in an investigation for cheating at an academy where our military is being trained wouldn't come forth with everything. So it either happened or it didn't. Some of those records have leaked. I think that's probably fact checkable. So she should stay consistent with her message. But I would say this. She says on day one she wants to freeze the cost of utilities. She says these things. But day one, we talk about those issues. Day one starts before you get in office. Like, you've got to have some policies at this point that supersede that. For instance, I'd like to jump to health care, because that's something that's at the heart of the shutdown, the federal government, and that's affecting every state in the Republic right now, the shutdown. Millions of people, 42 million on SNAP, about to feel a snap of their food assistance.
And by the way, I probably, if this happens, we're all going to have to, you know, step up and go to our local food banks and help people out.
So let's do it.
Yeah.
But we have that.
Right.
You and I have that spirit. So let's go do that. But my question for you is, healthcare is one of those things that, as we get older, and you're still 29, you and Sean, but I've turned 30, and healthcare is one of those things that you can't cut corners with that. Like, you have to do it. So what do you do to get the cost down in New Jersey? What's some of what your ideas are?
I really believe that the job of any governor, job number one, is public health and safety. Number one, we got to make New Jersey a better place to do business, so more insurance companies want to do business here. More health insurance companies, more competition. More competition, we drive down prices. But we also have to make sure that our independent docs and pharmacists can not just survive but thrive here in the state, provide some competition to our healthcare systems. And the healthcare system CEOs agree with that. So there's a number of things that we need to do. But government's got to play its role. This is one of the things that's not talked about enough in New Jersey. Insurance rates across the board have gone through the roof and only added to the affordability crisis.
I've read about you that you're ready to partner, at least work across the aisle with Democrats. Tell me the importance of that in this divided environment.
Well, first let me say that back in 21, with the wind in my face, I flipped 8 seats in the state legislature, the most successful night in 34 years. With the wind at my back this time around,
Well, let me dovetail off
with the wind at my back this time around, I could flip 13 seats, and that gives us a Republican majority for the first time in close to 3 decades. So, but
well, this is a perfect dovetail into a lot of Democrats are coming out publicly for you.
Right.
For example, Harris, please stay. We love having you. I want to introduce to you now 3 of Jack's supporters whose endorsements have been critical, and they say a lot. Rabbi Morty Bernstein. He is the Jackson, New Jersey Council President, represents the Ocean County Jewish communities that endorsed Jack. That was a big endorsement. I want to talk to you in a second. Jeff Lewis, also a Branchville Town Councilman who is backing Jack. Welcome. Thank you. You're a Democrat? I forgive you. Jamal Hawley, he is a former Democrat, New Jersey Assemblyman. He crossed the aisle to endorse. Rabbi, these are important endorsements. You didn't have this the last time at this level. It's all across the state. What's different?
What's different is that everyone sees Jack as a true friend, especially after October 7th and with the rising level of anti-Semitism throughout the state. People see that Jack doesn't just care. Jack thinks about the community. He responds to the community, and he's there no matter what and no matter where. So that's really what changed. People see him all over. I appreciate it.
Jeff Lewis, let me ask you. I'm sure you probably took some heat being a Democrat and supporting Jack, but you did it out of principle. Why?
I believe he's definitely the man for the job. As I was on Sandra's show yesterday on Fox, thank you all.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I explained on there, I actually got a nasty phone call from a gentleman after the show. Mikey hasn't shown me anything. Her helicopter flying, children, a mother of 4 children, and yes, she's going to lower our electric bills. That's her big
It really,
commercials.
electric bills, and Harris was telling me backstage, it is a big deal.
It is. We do, and look, this is for you to say more than me, but we do have nuclear in our state. We do have some nuclear power. We have some of that. AI is coming on board, so we know that there will be a thirst for more energy through artificial intelligence. But even without all of that, our utilities are high. Can you say why that is and why it's so broken? And why in the heck is our gas still $5 a gallon in Edgewater, New Jersey, but there are places in outstate and out of state that are in the twos?
Yeah. We talked about this at the top of the hour. Phil Murphy shut down 6 different electricity generation plants, put a moratorium on natural gas-fired electricity generation, didn't expand nuclear in South Jersey, where 3 reactors produce 40% of our electricity,
right.
0 carbon emissions, and bet it all on wind. Bet it all on wind. And here we are almost 8 years later. So what was a state that actually exported electricity because we produce more than we need,
Right.
we now have to import through these exchanges. We pay through the nose. I'll get it down on day one by pulling out a Reggie. That carbon tax policy has failed New Jersey and drives up your monthly bill.
Let me go to Jamal. You were you were a state assemblyman,
Yes,
Democrat.
I am still.
Welcome here.
Thank
Glad
you.
you're here.
Thank you.
A lot of times, if you show any sense of reasonableness or you want to get along with the other side, oh, that's like a mortal sin.
I mean, but aren't we supposed to do that? Yes. Aren't we supposed to do that? I mean, at what point is it?
I think you just stand for what's right.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I mean, we are supposed to be working together. And, you know, one thing that you and Harris forgot about is that this is going to be the long time and the first time in a long time that we've elected a Jersey guy for once. That matters. That matters.
But I want to go in a little deeper.
That matters. That matters.
8 years of Phil Murphy.
8
okay?
years of Phil Murphy.
So Democratic dominance for the most part in the state for a long time.
I was part of it.
You were part. Okay.
I came across the aisle, and that man came across the aisle for me when I entered the legislature in 2012, and he's been a friend ever since.
You know, this raise, by the way, I love your intellectual honesty and you're willing to have a conversation. I try to have. John Fetterman's the only Democrat really will come on my show. I'm a nice person, right, Harris?
Well, look, he's voting to reopen the government. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to start somewhere, right? He and Angus King and Castro. Go ahead.
But this is my question. I don't see how we can reconcile those that want defund, dismantle, no bail, and reimagine the police and send in the social workers. How do you reconcile open borders, no vetting, with people that believe you need to come into the country legally and get vetted and do it the right way, and then welcome to our country? You know, how do you reconcile Democrats in Washington that voted for the largest tax increase in history? They could have voted for the largest tax decrease in history. How do we reconcile that?
And my opponent voted no on the big, beautiful bill, which puts about $5,000 a year back in the pocketbooks of hardworking middle-class New Jerseyans. She voted no.
No tax on tips, overtime, Social Security. She voted for the largest tax increase in history then.
Doubles the child care tax credit for families with young kids. And for those who want to send their kids to private school, magnificent tax credits starting in 2027 from the big, beautiful bill, if your governor opts in. I've already said I'm in. My opponent has not.
She did vote for the Inflation Reduction Act, which did not reduce inflation.
Cheryl did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mikey Cheryl did. She did vote for that, and that had a lot of sweeteners in it for the green industry. So you were talking about those wind combines that are out in the middle of the ocean right now.
Not yet, and there won't be.
You're not going to let that happen? Well, that's where that money was going.
All right. When we come back, can you stay with us, Harris?
Are you kidding? I want to talk to these fine folks. Yeah, come on. Thank you.
I will say this. I work with the nicest people in the world, and I love everybody in our Fox family. Thank you for making Fox #1. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.